In Iowa, you'll find 99 wineries and over 300 vineyards. But what makes a vineyard in Northwest Iowa stand out is what stands out on its wine bottles. Unique names, and there's one wine with a story unlike any other. KTV's Matt Breen shares the emotional story.
There's Janice Louise, Uncle Tony, and Aunt Billy. But they're not just the names of the wines made by Oscar Carl Vineyard.
Absolutely, these are real people.
The real Tony and Billy are related to owner Melanie Olson, but they're not her aunt and uncle.
They're my parents, actually. So Uncle Tony is actually my dad. Aunt Billy was my mom. Janice Louise is my mother-in-law.
If you're curious, it was Aunt Billy that came first. But it's one of Oscar Carl's newest wines, Noel, that holds a very special place in Melanie's heart.
She was a really, a one-of-a-kind human being.
Danelle Nellie Olson was Melanie Olson's sister-in-law.
She had a recurrence of melanoma.
After a courageous battle with cancer, Nellie passed away in December of 2023.
I wanted her legacy to be known and her to be, to feel like her life had purpose, because it did.
So before Nellie had passed away, Melanie and her husband Roy decided to name their newest wine after Nellie. It's news they were able to share in person.
Roy and I were in their living room. I stood and gave an official presentation like I was in 6th grade, and had the poster and the label and read it all to them, and it was just so meaningful. It was actually the last time that we were together.
Nellie died 2 weeks later, but not before she got to see the actual label bearing her name.
So I actually came back on that day with the real deal labels and called Terry and asked if I could come over. And we knew it was her last hours. So I was able to go over, give Terry an official label, and say my goodbye. Also
on the label, a heartfelt tribute to Nellie.
Noel, a name that evokes living a purposeful, authentic, legacy-leaving life. Cheers to life well lived.
The morning after Melanie shared the label with her sister-in-law, Nellie died. But later that day, there was new life. Noel, Oscar Carl's newest wine made from a new grape, was bottled for the very first time.
And it's named Petite Amie, which means little friend. And that was also part of it for me, because Nellie was my friend. And so it just all mattered.
Friendship shared by Nellie, and a wine shared by Oscar Carl, so Nellie is never forgotten.
Nellie's impact goes beyond the label on a bottle of wine. She worked as a registered nurse for Unity Point Health St. Luke's for 45 years. Most of those years were spent in the neonatal intensive care unit, where she touched and held so many lives.